I've been thinking about how to start this video for over an hour, literally. So what I decided is we're gonna check on Amazon together, we're gonna test some of these products, and I'm mainly gonna talk about how you can build a setup around specific pillar products. For me today, the pillar is this combination here, which is the same price as this if you want to spend the most money on audio. If you want a really nice looking quality LED panel that's still in the budget range, this is the pillar product. And then for the webcams, I am not entirely sure yet because I asked this company to send their whole lineup. And I did this because they have so many options. For example, this is the eMeet C960 and I used this in my previous $100 streaming setup. And this webcam was decent for the price. However, webcams are not the same as microphones in the sense that cheap webcams look absolute trash. So upping the budget on that is usually more worth it compared to microphones. As with all budget setup videos, we are starting with a bare bones setup. You could also easily replace this with a laptop, for example, because the only thing we are adding is a PC, a screen, a keyboard, and the mouse. I would really like to start with testing this microphone. I've never tested it before. People also keep asking me to review it. So I was a bit put off by the looks. It looks like a stage or a singing microphone, and I thought, why would you want to use this in a cool gaming or streaming setup? However, if you're serious about streaming, then it honestly sounds pretty cool that you're using a very quality sounding, well, probably microphone, which also aims very high. You can even move it more, so you don't even need a microphone arm for this one. Now it also includes an XLR cable in the box because you can connect this to an audio interface. It's a USB or XLR microphone. I'm gonna use a USB cable, of course, today. The stand honestly feels pretty flimsy, plastic, cheap. However, the microphone definitely doesn't. Now, I've been playing around with it a bit. I've been listening to it. It is very warm and full and professional. So of course, for this video, $70 or $68 is a big bite out of our $100 budget. Choosing this microphone would mean that we need a very cheap webcam and use our room light as lighting, but it is absolutely possible. And if sounding great on stream and knowing that you have a very professional sound device to record your voice, which is very important when recording videos or voiceovers or streaming, if that's your main priority, you can 100% get this one. And I was so confident about it before even testing it myself, because pretty much everyone is recommending this as the best way to spend your money if you're gonna buy a mic under $100 and you don't care about RGB and all of this stuff. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna find the perfect webcam to go together with this, and then after that we're gonna upgrade the webcam, downgrade the microphone, maybe downgrade both a bit so we can introduce a light, and then you can tell for yourself which of these combinations look, sound, feel the best to you, because it's really about optimizing the microphone, the webcam, and your light to find the perfect balance, and we have a lot of options. Now, after doing some more testing, I absolutely love this microphone. Oops, don't worry about the sagging, you can increase the tightness with this screw. So I want to find at least one combination that works for this budget. We're gonna have little budget left for the webcam and a video light, or maybe spend the rest of the budget on a webcam that works with a room light. Before I look for a webcam, I want to show this one right here. It is a sponsor of the video. It released very recently and I also haven't tested it yet. It is still sealed. So let's open it to see what's inside. The webcam is 1080p and it seems like they sent the white version. It's matte white. It looks like a very sleek or clean product. Now this company Obsbot genuinely makes nice products. I have their other webcam in my private setup. It's more expensive. It's the 4K version, but they recently came out with a 1080p, I think 100 Hertz version. I can't find it in the manual, so we will just connect it and then check out the quality and the refresh rate in OBS Studio. The webcam is magnetic, so you can connect the stand here, you can keep it here, and then you can just attach the webcam like this. And you can also use it vertically if you want to stream on mobile, and this way you get the full quality while being vertical, instead of like with some webcams where you have to film horizontal and then just cut off the sides, which means that you lower the resolution. You can connect it both with USB-C or with USB to the PC, and then the other side is USB-C into the webcam. And then you also got a magnetic privacy filter that you can just attach like this to your webcam whenever you're not using it. Okay, now I want to make this a real test, so I'm gonna turn off this softbox. I'm quickly gonna use this one just to check out the webcam with a basic decent light. So we are still using auto exposure. It exposes for the face, but instead of setting the compensation to 0, which causes my forehead to have bright spots, we can just keep reducing it until the bright spots are completely gone, which is about -1. So besides this, autofocus is enabled, so it will focus on my eyes. Now keep in mind that with a lot of webcams, and oh, it's tracking me. All right, it's auto tracking. It zooms in and then it can track you a bit. Now what I was gonna say is that turning on your room light often helps a lot when you're working with a budget setup. I'm gonna go to console here and I'm gonna turn off auto framing and I'm gonna set the zoom to ×1. Now I feel like it looks a bit better already, and the reason is that if you use just one small light, which is what all the lights in this video will kind of be, then it can absolutely work and it will light your face, but the rest of the room will be super dark. So that is very important for this video, no matter which webcam we test, especially if we test cheaper webcams with cheaper lights or with no light at all. It is usually recommended to turn on your room light. I'll quickly go full screen so you can see. This is the vertical mode and I will now switch it to the horizontal, and we are using the light right now and our room light, which is a perfect combo. And something pretty nice is this right here. It is AI phase effects. One of their effects is to add blur, and if you set it to advanced, it uses your GPU and it's actually very good. The background is very blurred. You don't see much artifacts in between my fingers when I'm moving, especially if things are going quick on stream and stuff. People will just think you have a DSLR camera because the background is very efficiently blurred. You can't see artifacts even around my hair, like almost none. If you really look at it, you might be able to see it, especially here, like these hairs, right? Especially if I move them. But in general, these effects look really nice. The other model had really good and sharp autofocus on the eyes, and I think this one as well. The closer you are with your face, the better it usually looks. Okay, it adjusted now. What I want to do next is very important. I want to give you some overall information on all of these products while checking Amazon, because there's quite some options and combinations, and if I show them one by one and then I test them, then I go to Amazon and then back and forth, it will be very confusing to see the big picture. So I'm gonna give the big picture now and then we're gonna test some combinations. This right here is the Logitech light that we have here, which we tested the OBSBot webcam with, and that light is $51. So it usually doesn't fit in a $100 setup. I just wanted to include it because I want to have at least one main or premium device that people can decide to spend the most money on in terms of a webcam or a light or a microphone. Now the lights we have above here, these are, well, at least a variation of them I have here to test, and I've tested these in a lot of budget setups. These are from another brand, but it doesn't matter too much. Many budget products have the same base product and then they just changed a bit of the function or the looks. And so this is one of the panels, there's two, and for about $24, depending on which listing you find, you get two of these LED panels which can stand on your desk as they come with a stand. It's funny because this is actually a selfie stick, and then they found some cheap stand to connect to it, and then the light connects to that, also with some cheap ball head that they have in another factory. This is typical budget China stuff. However, it works really well and you can't complain for $24. We're gonna test it. Now just today I found another one on Amazon. This has been bought 10,000 times. It's $13, and looking at all the pictures, unless they lie, but this looks pretty real. Actually, it's definitely not because the phone is out of focus and then the light is super sharp. But anyways, it seems like the size is about just a bit cut off this light, like this for example. So it might very well be possible to get this light here. I'm pretty disappointed that I can't test it today, but while testing some things, I will reduce the brightness because this is pretty important in general. As long as you have some light shining on your face, the webcam will already make you look a lot better. And I think that this light might possibly work with this webcam, which is pretty much the cheapest webcam I can find all over Amazon. I'll check the price. I think it's about $15, $14, which means that you could buy this premium microphone together with this budget webcam and then this ultra cheap light. And that, for example, would be the perfect combination if you want to do game live streaming and you yourself are small in the corner. You just want some webcam filming you so that people can see you moving or talking in the corner, but it's gonna be very small, so a crappy webcam is fine. And then you have this super budget light giving you at least some brightness on your face. That could be the perfect combination if your voice quality while you're gaming and talking over your games is the most important thing for you. I'll quickly show it because we have other webcams from this brand. It's eMeet. This was the premium webcam that I wanted to test. It's this one right here. It's 4K at $60. Actually a very good price. It's 4K, but it should of course look good enough. Some 4K webcams look super pixelated while others look extremely sharp. I mean, this camera is 4K, doesn't mean that this webcam is gonna look the same, right? So this is one webcam we're gonna test. Then this is another one that I've used in previous setups. It's $36. It's 1080p. This is the eMeet C960. It's a very popular webcam and it has a very wide field of view. And I wanna test this. That's why I'm so excited to test all of these webcams, because I think that this webcam is pretty much the same quality, but being super narrow. So let's check it out. This right here is the C950. That's this webcam right here, and it's about $18. There are a few versions here. The cheapest one is this, $18. Let's check the price history. Yeah, that's what I thought. This seemed more than usual. Often you can buy it for $16 and with fire sales again $16. So that's about the price you can get it for. Let's check the year history. Yes, there are very often fire sales and price drops going on. By the way, this webcam right here is the one from the sponsor that we tested out. Right now it's at $69, but there's a $10 coupon, so $59, which is about the same price as this webcam right here. Now it's 1080p. This one is 4K, but as I said, it doesn't mean that it will look better, because it might be crappy 4K and the low light performance might be bad, or it might be the other way around. I will never lie in videos, so we will check it out later and you can decide for yourself what you like more. Let's check the price history. Yes, about $58, $59 is the price. This one is 1080p, 60 FPS or 100 FPS, even 720p, 150 FPS. So if you want slow motion for some kind of reason, that's very useful. Then we have this one from eMeet. It's 4K. It's also $59. It'll be 4K 30 FPS. Then we have this one, which is $34, which is 1080p, wide field of view. And then we have this one, which is $16 and which is also 1080p, but with a narrow field of view. I'm super excited to test these. Let's check the microphones. This one is the listing that I bought, which is this microphone right here. It is $69 or $70. There is also a black version of this microphone, which costs $5 more. I just want to check if you can get it for cheaper with price drops. Seems like it adjusts often and you might get it for $66, but not really below that. So then instead of the most expensive mic, this will be the cheapest. It's the Fifine K669B. I've used it often in videos. I won't go too in depth. You can get it in black, blue, green, pink, silver or white, and $29 seems a bit too much. Usually it's cheaper. Seems like it depends. In the last 3 months it dropped 2 times to $24 and then also 2 times a lightning deal for $24. If you check the year history, you can see very often it drops to $24, which is why this is the cheapest. Then one step up, it's the Fifine A6V, and this pretty much sounds the same, but it has RGB, it has a pop filter, it has a shock mount, and you can tap it on top to mute it. So it's pretty much an updated version of the K669B. However, this does feel more premium. I compared them in a video. You can check my channel if you want to see it. I did an in-depth comparison of the two. I will make the decision very easy for you. I will also check the price first. Let's check the last year. Very often drops to about $27.9, $28, which is $4 more than the 24 of this one. And so it's pretty simple. If you want the absolute cheapest microphone that sounds good, which also feels a bit heavier, does it last longer? I'm not sure. Both kept working for me, but $24 for the cheapest option possible. That sounds very good. If you want RGB, you pay $4 more and then you get this microphone, you get a shock mount, you get a pop filter, and you get a mute button on top. You can't change the colors, by the way, so it cycles through a bunch of gradients. If you mute it, the lights go off, but there is no software or no way to change the colors. Then a middle of the road is the Fifine AM8. It looks like the black version is cheaper, $43. That seems like a good deal. I wonder if that's temporary. 6,000 bought in the past month, #1 bestseller. This is a very popular microphone. And let's check the history over a year. It often drops to $45, it seems. And what I have right here is a kit with this microphone. I'm not sure which color they sent me. They sent me the pink version apparently. So this is the microphone. The other kit they sent me is the black version. It has RGB on the bottom here. You can change the color. You can turn it off, turn it on. It has an XLR input in the back. It has a headphone jack and a USB-C port, so you can use this through USB or you can connect it to an XLR audio interface. So what I'm wondering right now is what the price is if you buy a kit. This is the kit version of the microphone, the AM8T, and let's check the price history of this mic over the last year. It often drops to $52, a while back even $47, $48 often. So $48 to $52, which is for a whole microphone kit and is still cheaper than buying this microphone alone. Although you don't need a microphone arm if this mic is standing on your desk and it's about as high as your mouth. But if you want the whole experience of having a microphone kit on your desk with RGB and with a microphone arm, then this is a great budget option of having this. Okay, now I have a bit to say about this. So what I just installed is the premium LED panel, but I reduced the brightness. I did this to simulate the cheaper light that we checked out, because that light will also brighten up your face, but just not as much as a more expensive one. Then the camera is the cheap $16 1080p 30fps webcam from eMeet, and the microphone is the Samson Q2U, which is the most premium one that would fit in this budget and is always recommended as the microphone to spend your money on if you want to spend a bit more than a budget mic and you want professional audio quality instead of a flat sounding cheap microphone like there's a lot of them. They all sound pretty decent. I always say that the microphone is the one thing you can spend little money on and get a lot of the value. Now I'm seeing that I'm lagging quite a bit. I hope my editor can sync everything in post, because it's just because of my PC. Okay, I adjusted the settings. It should be better right now. I'm recording at 1080p 30fps. Overall, I mean, for $16, I really like this, especially if you want to put it small in the corner while you're gaming or something. I mean, then I would 100% take a cheap webcam and take a nicer microphone, because that's what people will be hearing all the time while you're gaming, while you're giving commentary, reacting to videos, all this stuff. Even when I turn off the LED panel here, I mean, this is fine. If anything, it makes you look more like a streamer and less like a professional YouTuber, which might be good for streaming if that's what you want to use it for. The one downside I wanted to talk about is that sometimes I see a lag appearing, some kind of strobing effect, but right now I'm not really seeing it. So I think it'll be very sporadic and it might be fine. One thing that always fixed it is if I move the settings to 720p. I'll do it right now so you can at least see. Okay, so this right here is what it looks like if I set it to 720p. Like this, it never had this effect, and when you move yourself into the corner, it doesn't really matter. So if you're looking for the cheapest webcam, I think this is a great option, just not if you're always presenting in front of the camera like this, because when it's too big, the quality is not that good. However, for on stream, it doesn't even matter. Alright, then this one's next, and it's clear what the difference is. So currently we are checking out the eMeet C960, and this is pretty much the previous webcam, but with a very wide field of view. And so this webcam pretty much offers the same quality as the previous one. It just captures way more. So this is about how close the previous webcam recorded you. You can compare the quality if you want. I'll look into the camera. I think this one has no autofocus. The previous one also not, I think. This should be a fixed focus range. It's just optimized for the kind of distance you would be from your webcam when you're sitting in front of your setup. And now I'm sitting exactly like you would at your setup with your monitor at arm's range. So this is what it would look like on stream. It costs double the price, about $36 for getting this wide field of view. I will turn off the light. So this is what it looks like. Now I turned on all of my room lights. I think if I turn off the light behind me and the one in front stays on, then it might look better without my LED panel turned on. So it's still turned off. It's just that now the background is not going to be brighter than my face. If I turn on this light now, this is what you're getting. But of course, unless you're turning your desk so that your room light is shining on your face, which I kind of do recommend, still most people will be sitting against a wall and their light will be behind them. But again, these types of webcams are for the occasional full screen, and besides that, they are meant to be in the corner like this while you're gaming. It does look different though when it's this wide in terms of field of view. You're seeing a lot behind you, but you're also paying double. Now in terms of price and combination, if you want to keep this microphone and you want this webcam, you can buy it together for $105, I think, if you just remove the light. So if you're not using a light at all, you don't care about the full screen quality, you can get this mic. Otherwise, you can buy a light and then you can downgrade the microphone quality quality. I will show some other options. It's absolutely possible. You can even get a premium light with this webcam with one of the cheaper mics. But again, you don't need the premium light because this is the maximum light quality, and in general it's usually too much. All right, now this is another beast. This webcam is the eMeet Nova 4K, and this is the webcam that was $59, and it is definitely impressive. Now the microphone I'm using is the Fifine AM8, so this was the one in between. That's about $44 for the black one. Now right now I'm sitting like I would on stream, normal distance, normal height, and then the microphone is just out of the frame. If you use a microphone arm, you will get it closer to your mouth, and then this is what it will sound, which is still cheaper than the professional Q2U microphone. So it's up to you to listen to the differences, see which kind of gear you really like in this video, what other gear seems optional. I'm not changing any audio settings or effects with any of these microphones that I test because I intentionally want to let you hear the basic sound. You can always change it, but the best thing usually is to find a mic that has the stock sound that you like, whether it's more bassy or more thin or more flat. Well, with the cheaper mics, they are more flat, not that you would like it, but that's just how they will sound. The more expensive ones sound a bit more dynamic, and then you can always adjust it at home when you get it. Now I am using the cheaper LED panels, the $24 ones. I will turn them off, so this is what it looks like with just my room light turned on. I will also turn on the premium LED panel, which, by the way, as you will see, it's not called premium, or I don't call it premium because it's the best one necessarily. It's just because it costs more, it looks nicer, it sits clean on top of your monitor, it has effects to change the color temperature, as you can see. This is the maximum setting in terms of brightness. You can compare the two. My editor will put them side by side. In case I messed up the color temperature, this is what it looks like if it's set to way more white. I think this is about the sweet spot. Now I do want to mention with this microphone, it has a lot of sound when you touch it. Also when using it with a microphone arm, since it doesn't really have a shock mount. So if you put it on your desk, you will already hear it. If I tap my desk, you will definitely hear it. If you're just careful and you're gaming, and I will tap some of my buttons, you can decide for yourself whether you hear it too much or not. Now if you get this webcam, the eMeet Nova 4K, and you get the basic lights on top of it, you won't have enough to get a microphone while staying below $100. But I really want to show it because if you get the cheapest microphones that we have, which is $24, but you will be about $10 above 110. But that does give you an amazing webcam with the most budget, good sounding microphone. And that's about the most important comparison for this video. Do you want this video quality and then have basic sound, or do you want to have the best sound possible and you don't really care about your webcam because you will move it in the corner? Well, if I move this, it's not that big of a difference with the other webcams, right? It's small in the corner, people focus on your game, they just listen to you while you're gaming, they occasionally look at your facial expressions. But if you want to be full screen a lot, then of course it makes a huge difference if you get a webcam of this quality. Okay, so I connected one of the cheapest microphones of today's video. This is the Fifine Ampligame A6V. It's about $28. The cheapest one was a Fifine K669B for $24. They sound pretty much identical. I don't need to let you listen to both. It's just that this one has the RGB. It has the mute button that will turn off the RGB whenever it's muted. And it also has the pop filter for the sounds that might be a bit less intrusive with this microphone. And very important, it has a shock mount. You can hopefully see all the elastics here that will keep the microphone from picking up vibrations that are coming from the desk. So I will reposition it on my desk, and as you can hear when I tap the desk, of course you hear the taps, but they're gone immediately because the shock mount quickly stops all the vibrations from reaching the microphone. That's a big plus. And honestly, when it comes to the microphones, I would choose one of these two. I wouldn't go for anything in the middle. This one sounds really professional, it looks professional. You just know that you have studio quality audio, which is nice. It's also very upgradable. It has an XLR port. If you get an audio interface later, you can still use this microphone. It might sound a bit better, or you might have more control. And then this microphone, the Fifine Ampligame A6V, looks more like a gamer microphone. It will add a bit of entertainment to your stream because of the RGB. It sounds very acceptable. You also have a shock mount. You can buy it with a microphone arm or connected to one. This is how it sounds when it's standing on your desk. This is what it sounds like if you connect it to a microphone arm. And then this is a final test of the Samsung Q2U if you want to compare it to the Fifine Ampligame A6V. Of course, if you want to stay below $100, you will have to give up either this microphone or that webcam. If you want to go full screen on stream a lot, I would go for that webcam and downgrade the microphone. If you don't really care about the video quality that much, you just want people to at least see you, then I would check out this microphone because it gives you a lot of options to change your voice without destroying the audio. It sounds more dynamic, the highs and the lows and the mids. You can kind of hear all of them and adjust all of them. It's not really possible with cheaper microphones. But of course, this webcam is miles ahead of the other ones. So the choice is up to you. By the way, let me know in the comments if you like this type of setup build where I show more options for different budgets or more ways to spend the same budget. It might have been more chaotic, but I hope I served more people by considering different use cases. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Check out one of the videos next to me wherever they will be. Also check out the mousepads which released recently. I love all of the designs. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching and I hope that I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day.